dive today into some really powerful source material. We're looking at the life of Claudia Reid, detailed in Maggie T's Teashop Reckoning and her secret journals. And this is not your typical success story.
No, not at all. Far from it. This material, it really charts the journey of a woman who felt, for decades, completely blacklisted, betrayed, and in her own words, fundamentally unchosen.
Right. And what we're tracing is this almost impossible contrast. How does someone take that level of trauma, generational trauma, and build a sanctuary?
A literal sanctuary. Maggie T's Teashop. It's right there, across from the LIR station on Springfield Boulevard in Queens Village.
And when you say sanctuary, you mean it. The sources are so specific about this.
They are. They describe it as an oasis, and you really can't understand her comeback without looking at the tea shop itself. The physical space is everything. The first thing you notice, apparently, is the scent.
The peppermint.
Yeah, this thick, cool peppermint oil. And it's not just, aromatherapy. It's intentional. It's engineered to repel pests, the mice, the roaches from a life she was desperate to leave behind. And more importantly, it's meant to wrap you in this blanket of calm. It is the polar opposite of her past.
And inside, it's all plush couches. Games like Uno, Monopoly,
Yeah.
and these two quiet TVs, always on Maroi or Judge Judy, but just at a whisper. It's designed to feel like home, even if you never really had one.
Exactly. So our mission today for you is to understand the extreme personal trauma, the systemic failures that had to happen for this tea shop to become what she eventually calls her throne. We're talking about everything from childhood medical experiments to multi-million-dollar fraud.
So let's start at the beginning, the roots of all that damage. The sources take us right back to the late 1960s.
She was born in a Bronx hospital, and there's this chilling detail her father mentioned later, that she'd been part of some kind of medical experiment before she was even born.
And they don't know what it was.
No idea. But whatever it was, it left her with these awful, unexplained seizures for the first, 7 to 10 years of her life?
So right away she's marked as different, vulnerable.
Right. But the betrayal, the one that really sets the stage for everything that happens when she's 9. Her stepbrother, Mark. He organizes some neighborhood boys, Greg, Gary, Corey, to assault her. And the threat was just horrific. Comply or they'd kill her parents.
And the worst part, the part that's just so hard to read, is what happened when she told her parents.
They called her a liar.
A liar. I mean, walk us through that. What does that do to a child?
It creates a prison. It's inescapable. It's not just that the world outside is dangerous. It's that your protectors, your own parents, they choose the abusers over you, over your truth.
It just stacks the trauma right there.
Instantly. And you see the pattern forming, Claudia's integrity, her truth. It's just worthless when it gets in the way of family convenience.
And the list just keeps going. Babysitters like Barbara Ivy.
Burning her hands with cigarettes.
In the building, super. Kissing her in the basement laundry room. The one place she could maybe find a moment's peace, there was just no safe place for her.
None. And all this is happening while her parents, Veronica and Richard Sr., are running schemes, using her name for credit cards, using her birth certificate, and at the same time calling her loser, dummy.
So they're not just abusing her, they're actively destroying her reputation in the community.
They're burning it to the ground, making sure no one inside or outside the family would ever trust her.
And this all takes a physical toll. By 1997, the sources say a tumor starts growing in her belly. She develops a limp. It's like the internal pain is literally manifesting on the outside.
It is. It's a perfect tragic mirror. And we have to slow down here because her journals from the 80s and 90s are so important. She talks about what she calls the colorism curse.
Right. She was dark-skinned, had coarse hair, and she truly believed she was cursed by it.
She connected it to everything. To her lack of success. To being, again, unchosen, especially by men like Rex Steele.
The local football hero. Biracial, light-skinned, green eyes. He was the symbol of everything she felt she couldn't have.
Exactly. And her journals, they paint this vivid picture of how that played out in the workplace. Lighter-skinned women getting the front-facing jobs, the better pay. So for her, this wasn't just insecurity. It felt like a structural, undeniable fact of her life. She was less valuable. And that feeling, that's what she carries into her adult life.
Okay, so that foundation of rejection is set deeply. Now we move from family abuse to systemic financial betrayal. This is where she gets what she calls the scarlet letter.
Early 2000s. She gets a job at a debt settlement company. And, she's actually great at it.
Of course, she had empathy. She understood what it felt like to be drowning in debt.
She did. But the irony is just cruel. While she's helping people, the owners and the CFO are stealing $200 million. And then they just vanish.
And Claudia was completely innocent in this. She had no idea until it all came crashing down.
None. But it didn't matter. She was blacklisted. Immediately. Every background check from then on flagged her, associated with fraud.
Wow. So that liar label from her childhood just follows her into her professional life.
It becomes her brand. 4 years of unemployment. Credit destroyed. The system was basically confirming everything her parents told her.
You are toxic. You are worthless.
And what's so infuriating is that this just kept happening. She'd get a job, see something wrong, and get fired for pointing it out.
It's a pattern of integrity being punished.
Yeah.
The cable company in Melville, sneaking extra fees, she calls it out, she's fired. The alarm company in Florida, stealing from collections, she reports it, she's fired. Even a bank job in Ohio, a jealous VP just makes up lies about her and she's gone.
So the world is just relentlessly telling her that her truth has no value. It's actually a liability.
Exactly. And when you're facing that kind of rejection from every angle, you need a defense mechanism. You need something to survive.
Which brings us to the ghost fiancé. The ghost fiancé, yeah. Since she believed, quote, no real man ever chose her, she just invented one. A perfect, devoted police officer. And this wasn't some small fantasy. This was a fully developed character she maintained for decades.
It seems so extreme, though. Racking up all that dead furniture, TVs, wigs, just to make the fantasy feel real.
But think about it. The debt was proof. It was tangible evidence that she was worthy of being spoiled rotten. She could point to the new laptop, the nice clothes, and it would shield her from the incredible shame of feeling unchosen. The debt was collateral for her sanity.
She even planned a wedding.
A whole wedding that never happened. She bet her entire financial future on this psychological shield, and it worked for a while, until it didn't.
And that collapse was brutal. It all comes to a head in October 2021. She's 55.
Rock bottom. She gets evicted in Pittsburgh, loses everything. She ends up back in Queens in this tiny mice-infested apartment in Glen Oaks. No money, no driver's license. The ghost fiancé fantasy is just, it's gone.
Yeah.
And in that moment, she turns away from God. She starts using tarot cards, crystals, rage prayers, she called them. Bring me love, bring me a man.
Just absolute desperation. But this is the pivot point. This is where the reversal begins. It happens in late 2022.
Right. And it's not some big epiphany. It's these two kind of bureaucratic things that happen almost at the same time.
The first one is from the government.
Yeah, the Identity Theft Division, which the sources call Government DOGE, a special task force. They'd finally investigated her parents' old schemes, and they offered Claudia $300,000 in restitution.
But there was a catch, all right?
A huge one. She had to testify against her own father, who's 84 by this point. And after everything, she said yes.
That's a massive step, choosing herself over that toxic family loyalty.
It's the ultimate boundary. And right after that, the second piece falls into place. An affidavit about her Aunt Faith's will. It was an inheritance she'd sacrificed years ago. It triggers a lawsuit against her mother, and suddenly, that money is hers. It becomes the seed money for the dream.
So with the money in place, she makes the final break.
Yeah.
The name change.
Yes. She legally becomes Margaret C. Reid. Maggie. She literally sheds the name that was tied to all that pain.
And she doesn't just open a shop anywhere. She goes back to the heart of her rejection.
To Queens Village. Across from the train station, she buys the land and tears down the old symbols. The check-cashing spots, the 99-cent stores, the nail salons. And in their place, she builds the Teashop. And this big, safe parking lot she shares with the One True God Church next door. Maggie T's opens mid-June. She's 56 years old.
Which brings us to the reckoning. It's January 2026. The Teashop is a success. And who walks in?
Rex Steele, the ghost of her past. He's 57 now, fading legend. And he just sits in a corner watching her.
The tension must have been unbelievable.
And she doesn't let it just sit there. The confrontation is theatrical. In the fall of 2026, she closes the shop one night, gathers her entire family, and Rex. And she just lays it all out.
Everything. The abuse, the money schemes. Yeah. And then she hits Rex with the final humiliation. The doctor leaked truth that that he was impotent from all the pills and hormones he'd taken.
And in that moment, her stepbrother Mark just breaks. He confesses everything about the childhood assault.
So this is it, the victory lap.
You'd think so. But the consequences are immediate. The next day, Mark dies by suicide. Leaves a note that just says, sorry. And the sources are brutally honest here. Maggie's reaction. She smiled coldly.
Wow. The smile of vengeance. But that came at a cost.
A huge cost. Two people she trusted, Nick and Andrew, they see that coldness and they walk away. They call her a hypocrite. How can you build a sanctuary and not have mercy?
And that's what finally breaks her.
It gutted her. She realized the throne she built on vengeance was empty. And that leads to her real transformation. She starts practicing what she calls quiet mercy, sending money to her broken family. No lectures, no strings attached, just help. That was the real reversal.
And then Rex comes back.
Late 2026, he comes back completely humble, admits he used her, that he chased shallow things for 40 years, and in this incredible, powerful moment, he gets on one knee and proposes, not with a diamond, with a simple band from a 99-cent store, one of the very symbols she tore down.
His confession is amazing. God shut me down to see.
It's profound. He had to be broken to finally choose her. And she accepts. They get married the next week at the church, and he starts working the counter at the Teashop. The legend is serving coffee.
The victory is complete. By 2030, she's 61, there's a second Maggie Tees, and her quiet mercy is actually working. The family is healing.
Her brother Richard is rebuilding his life, honestly. Her niece Aylin is off the wrong meds. She's in college. It's real change.
And then, the final miracle. The physical one.
The one that defies all logic. Remember the tumor, the limp. By 2032, maybe 2035, doctors confirm it. Circulation, sensation. It's all returning to your body. And then the ultimate reversal. The unchosen girl is confirmed as a mother-to-be at 67 years old.
It's a total reclamation.
Yeah.
Personal, financial, physical, romantic, everything she was denied.
And what's so fascinating when you look at all of this is that her story isn't just about winning. It's about becoming a kind of patron saint of the forgotten in her own community. The blacklisting, the betrayals, they weren't the barrier to her success. They were the required foundation for the oasis she built.
So when you're thinking about this, here's the final thought. What's the true meaning of restitution in this story? Yes, the government paid her $300,000, but the real wealth, the real victory, was her ability to go back to the literal location of her bane, the lots with the check cashing spots and 99-cent stores, and turn it into a sanctuary.
Yeah.
That transformation of space into grace. Taking the dirtiest, most painful ground and making it a place of peace. That's the victory this deep dive is all about.